Greetings, friends, and welcome to my guide on the Savage Cup of Alexander. This turn has high DPS and heal checks, requires raid coordination, and a good go-kart driver. This encounter has a hard enrage timer of 10 minutes and 30 seconds. I will go into each of the mechanics as we make our way through the waves. I'm sure there are many other strategies that work just as well, but these are the ones we use to best suit our playstyle and composition. Alright, let's get started. This encounter is basically wave after wave of enemies. There are 9 waves total. Before I get into each individual wave, I want to get into the different enemy types this encounter has to offer, and the special go-kart abilities. Soldier. Weak melee add. Will explode if killed next to the Magitech Gob Widow unless stunned by the go-kart. Sniper. Ranged add. Very difficult to gain threat on unless provoke is used. Will usually aggro healers first. Hard Helm. It's a melee add. Applies a healing magic potency down debuff. It also buffs itself and all nearby friendly targets with physical vulnerability down and removes stacks from the go-kart. Hard Mind. Melee add. Applies a healing magic potency down debuff. It also buffs itself and all nearby friendly targets with magic vulnerability down and removes a stack from the go-kart. Jagged Doll. High damaging add that cleaves. Be sure to always face this add away from the group. Jagged Dolls will also target random people with a ground AoE that does massive damage. Simply avoid this. The Gobwalker. It's a melee add. Applies stacking vulnerability up and can be stacked up to 5 times. Also applies a severe heavy. Upon reaching 15% HP, you can restore 200 EP on the go-kart. Gob Widow. Large add. Applies a prey-like debuff and will follow up with boom cannon. The damage is based on how much HP the target has when the marker goes away. Bomb. Explodes after a short time, dealing massive damage and applying a fire vulnerability up debuff. Must be pulled out of the group by the go-kart. These will start to spawn on wave 4. These are the go-kart abilities. Heavy Doom. 200 EP, applies heavy on all mobs except for the Gob Widow, Gobwalker, and Jagged Doll. Crackly Plumes. 250 EP. Applies a 25-second stun and a conal AoE on all mobs except for the Gob Widow, Gobwalker, and Jagged Doll. Melty Spoon. 10 EP. Applies a stacking vulnerability up debuff. Sticky Plume. 0 EP. Pulls target to the go-kart. This is primarily used on bombs. Recharge. 0 EP. Melee attack. Can be used on Gobwalkers that are below 15% HP to restore 200 EP. Self-destruct. 0 EP. Dismounts the go-kart, then roughly 10 seconds later will explode, dealing around 10k AoE damage and applying 1 stack of vulnerability to all targets. Okay, so now I'll go into the different waves. Keep in mind that there are many ways to complete this turn. This is just one method. We have our ninja go into the go-kart, and you'll want to apply stacks of vulnerability as much as you can when you are not stunning or pulling bombs out of the group. The bombs will also start to spawn on wave 4. Wave 1. 2 soldiers. Just kill these guys. Easy peasy. Wave 2. 2 soldiers, 1 sniper, and 1 hard mind. Pull the hard mind into the group and nuke everything down. Before the wave dies, have the go-kart driver suit up. Wave 3. 3 soldiers, 1 sniper, 1 hard helm, and 1 hard mind. Pull the soldier and hard helm to the group, stun everything, then nuke the shit out of everything. Wave 4. 2 soldiers, 2 snipers, and 1 gobwalker. Pull the gobwalker into the group and AoE everything down. Wave 5. 2 soldiers and 2 gobwidows. 1 tank picks up the 2 soldiers and 1 gobwidow, and the other tank picks up the single gobwidow. We pull everything to the southwest corner. We kill the single gobwidow first, then weaken the soldiers, but don't kill them. Start on the second gobwidow. Around this time, Wave 6 will spawn. Wave 6. 1 gobwalker, 1 jagged-daw, 1 hardhelm. Now this wave will spawn halfway through Wave 5. The tank that picked up the single gobwidow in the previous phase is free to pick up the jagged-daw and the gobwalker. The hardhelm will spawn right on top of the other tank, so it will make picking this up easy. Once the hardhelm spawns, stun everything. AoE down the hardhelm and the 2 soldiers. During this time, the tank picking up the jagged-daw and gobwalker should be bringing them back to the southwest corner into all the AoEs. At this time, the other tank should voke off the jagged-daw from the tank tanking the gobwalker. We then kill the gobwidow, then the gobwalker, then the jagged-daw. Once the jagged-daw is close to dying, we start to move into the center of the room for the next wave. Wave 7. 4 jagged-daws. 1 tank picks up the left 2, and 1 tank picks up the right 2. We focus the bottom right first, then the top right. Once these are dead, the group starts to move back to the southwest corner. Wave 8 should spawn soon. Wave 8. 1 soldier, 3 snipers, 1 hardmind, 1 hardhelm. We drag the hardmind and hardhelm to the southwest corner on top of everything else there and chain stun the shit out of everything. Nuke everything down as soon as possible. Wave 9. 2 soldiers, 2 snipers, 2 gob widows, 1 jagged daw, and 1 gobwalker. One tank picks up the jagged daw and gob widow next to each other, while the other tank picks up the gob widow and the gob walker. At the same time, we stun the 2 soldiers and snipers and drag everything to the southeast corner. We use caster LB here and AoE the shit out of everything, ensuring that the soldiers die while stunned. After the tank gets 3 stacks of vulnerability from the gobwalker, the other tank will voke off the gob widow. After the soldiers and snipers are dead, we kill the gob walker, then the jagged daw, then the 2 gob widows. Like I stated earlier, Our method is by no means the only way to do this encounter. There are also many other strategies for who drives the go-kart. These were just the ones we learned as a group. But yeah guys, that's all I got. I hope this guide was helpful and will lead to some sweet first clears. Peace guys.